Hello, welcome everyone that's already joined us. We'll just wait a minute or two for others to join us and then we'll set the ball rolling. Thank you. Hello again, everyone that's joined us so far. We'll just be waiting 2 extra minutes to see if others will join us. But in the meantime, feel free to connect in the chat. Say hello in the chat. And let us know as well if you can hear us well, or if there are any technical issues, feel free to use the chat that'll be open throughout the webinar to let us know. Thank you. Okay, I've seen we have quite a number who've already joined us, so let's get the ball rolling. Good afternoon and welcome to everyone. We're happy to have you here for the second edition of our PaygOps webinars. My name is Jacqueline from the Customer Success team, and I'm pleased to host you once again. For those who don't know about our organization, well, since 2014, Solaris Upgrade is a distributed turned software provider focused on offering technology solutions to scale up access to essential products and services for people in the low income regions. And also the focus has been on enabling technology for the value chain, whether it's from supporting manufacturers to improve product design towards market needs, or allowing interoperability of PayGo software with Open PayGo. And also, we've been working to provide a suite of operational tools and apps for last mile distributors through our flagship products that you know of, PaygOps, alongside as well our product development services branch, now called Solaris Lab. Now, from our valuable experience working with LMDs, we've always sought to match their challenges with a solution, whether it's our main software proposition or hardware, but alongside also, we have advanced feature services that we offer. Now, one of such is the customized dashboard. And in this webinar, we will be showcasing via a couple of scenarios and demos how you can leverage this tool to gain deeper insights into your business data monitoring, and also to optimize your operations at the last mile. It is therefore my pleasure to host you all today for PaygOps Customized Dashboard webinar. And to do us the honors, may I introduce you to our main speakers of the day in the person of our CTO, Benjamin David, and also our product manager, Joel Inzongola. Welcome once more to all attendees, and I look forward to your participation throughout the webinar. Now, feel free to, drop your comments in the chats that will be open throughout the webinar. And we have as well a dedicated Q&A box. So if you have any specific questions, drop your questions in the Q&A box. And at the end of the presentation, we'll address all of your questions. So thank you very much once again. And I'll hand over to Joel shortly after you answer a poll, just a straightforward poll to know the role of who you are in the ecosystem. So just take 30 seconds to answer that, and Joelle will take over. Thank you. Great. Over to you, Joelle.
All right. Thanks, Jacqueline, and hello, everyone. As Jacqueline mentioned, I'm Joelle, Product Manager at Service of Grid. So let's jump right into it. So why did we decide to build customized dashboards? Here at PaygOps, we have a wide range of users that are from different industries. Users vary from solar home system distributors to agri or cookstove companies and more. As those industries are pretty different, we took the time to discuss with all of them, and we directly noticed that they all have different data needs. For example, an agri company could be interested in land size distribution or even crop size distribution, whereas a cookstove company could be interested into carbon savings. Moreover, one feature PaygOps proposes is the ability to create custom forms. Custom forms allow users to create a form with any information they would like to collect from their clients. It is indeed a feature that is widely used by our users, and we can see directly that the input data is very different from one distributor to another. On the other hand, even within an organization, there can be many different use cases for the data. For example, monitoring day-to-day operations like performance of your sales team or your customer support, loan performance tracking for loan managers, and even accounting or financial reporting. With these many use cases within an organization, many stakeholders can have access to a lot of information, but they should only be able to see the information or data that matters the most to them. All of this shows that a one-fits-all dashboard cannot answer to all the needs of all the distributors. There is clearly a need for flexibility in the access of data, and it needs to be done as easily as possible.
Great. And so that being said, would like to know what sector your organization operates in. So if you take 30 seconds to answer the second poll, would appreciate that very much. Thank you.
Right. So what do we call customized dashboards? The customized dashboard is an optional advanced feature in PaygOps that allows distributor to design, edit, and display dashboards on the PaygOps platform as they wish. Instead of having pre-created dashboards that do not necessarily answer to their needs, they can have dashboards specifically designed for them and their business model. Customized dashboards allow you to visualize and quickly access the data that is more relevant to your day-to-day business operations and customized to each organization level. Whether you're a support agent, a sales manager, or a financial analyst, the data you have access to is only what really matters to you. As the dashboards are generated from the Postgres PaygOps database, your custom data is also included and available to be used to build the dashboards. And with high frequency updates, always get the most up-to-date information from the dashboard. The question now is, how do we tackle the need for flexibility in the access of data? First, with fully customizable dashboards, you can monitor all different areas of your business, whether it's sales, after sales, demographics, or accounting. You can build any dashboard that is relevant to you. If you have some agents that use PaygOps through the mobile app, you can make those customized dashboards available as well on the mobile app. So let's say if a sales agent wants to see how many calls he makes today, or if a support agent wants to see their customer satisfaction rating, they could see it directly from the mobile app. With customized dashboards, you also get more relevant filters that allow you to prioritize the data that matters the most to you. Moreover, with the ability to set up restrictions, it is possible to only show the data that matter at each organization level. For example, a customer support agent could have access to the dashboard as the same dashboard as the customer support manager, but they will not be able to see the same data. Lastly, making it easy to access the data, it is also possible to download the data that is created from the dashboard in multiple formats like CSV, Excel, and also JSON. So the customized dashboard feature can be used in different ways, and we do have several subscription options depending on your needs. So the first one is the basic customized dashboards. Let's say you're a distributor, you do have specific needs for dashboards, but you would like assistance setting them up. You can just explain to us your needs and we'll set up the dashboards directly on your PaygOps platform. However, you will not be able to edit those dashboards without our help. The second one is the customized dashboards with access to the editor. Let's say you're a distributor and you want to access the editor data tool to build and manage the dashboard yourself. This is the best option for you. You will be able to build the dashboards and edit them as you wish and anytime that you want, and also make it available in PaygOps. And last but not least, if you're currently using various business intelligence tools and you would like to keep on using them and build your own dashboard, you can just have access to the Postgres database remotely.
Great. So we'd like to know if you're currently using any business intelligence tools. So if you can take 30 seconds to answer the third poll for us, that would be great. Thank you.
All right, thanks, Jacqueline. Moving on to the demos, I'll now hand over to Ben, our CTO.
Thank you very much, Joel. Let me share my screen. So I'm Ben, I'm the CTO of Solaris Off-Grid, and I hope you can all see my screen. I will be presenting some examples of what Joel just presented. So I will show off some of the example dashboards that you can build or get built for you inside of the PaygOps Customized Dashboard. Starting with this impact dashboard that is tailored to a cook stove company. And one thing that's quite important to note is that the data inside of the dashboard can really match whatever the distributor needs actually are. And this is because inside of PaygOps, we have a feature called custom forms that allows distributor to customize which data they collect from their customers, whether it is at enrollment or whether it is during the lifetime of the customers. So for example, doing a satisfaction survey at regular interval through a call center, or at special milestone during the loan repayment, having data collected from the customer as well, for example, when issues are resolved. So this customized data is, in a way, one thing that makes the customizable dashboard even more valuable, because you will collect data that is very specific for your activities. For example, here for the cook stove company, we can see on the first graphs that they're asking their clients, okay, what kind of cooking fuel do you use? If it's charcoal, firewood, or kerosene. And they might ask some questions about like their spending, what they were spending before and what they were spending after getting the cook stove. And with that information, what they will want to do, because obviously it's customized information, is showing it and exploiting it in a way that is actionable for that distributor. And that's where the custom dashboards come into play. So this is an example dashboard that we could have built for that distributor. And it starts with very simple metrics. As you can see, it can be just showing off the result of the information that was collected from the client. But it can also go a little bit further than that by doing some analysis of the difference between the time of enrollment of the client and the time and like some time after. So for example, here, this dashboard is used to measure the impact of the client getting improved cook stove. So we can see that at the time of enrollment, so before they actually got the cook stove, the clients were spending a certain amount weekly on cooking fuel. And after they got the improved stove, so the second survey is done like 3-6 months after, we can see that the spending on cooking fuel has significantly reduced. And all of that, again, is possible with the combination of the custom forms and of the custom dashboard that make use of the data that you collected and that really matters for your company. One of the things that we wanted to showcase in this dashboard is the fact that you can also create your own metrics, making calculation based on the data you collected. So here, for example, we have this graph showing the CO2 emission avoided, and this uses both customized data. So here, for example, the reduction in fuel consumption was measured through a survey of the client, as well as a custom formula that takes that data, takes other data, takes, for example, like the average reduction in CO2 emission for the same quantity of fuel with the improved cook stoves, the average reduction in soot, etc. So different parts of the formula, different variables, mixing both data that comes from inside PaygOps collected from the clients and data that come from outside to then generate the final formula of computing the CO2 emissions avoided. And it can get quite complicated, so the system is really flexible, and we can help you build this kind of complicated formula to then have a graph that is then automatically updated every 3 hours, showing in real time the CO2 savings that you have. And so this kind of impact dashboard is useful for you. But one thing to note is that it can also be shared with different stakeholders. So it can be shown by people inside your company, inside of PaygOps like this. This is using the new UIs that you've probably started to hear about, but it already works in the current version of PaygOps. But it can also be shared externally, either through links or, for example, through like a newsletter. I will touch on that a little bit more after. Just to own down this point of the fact that the dashboards is really custom and really matching the data that you want. I have another example here, which is a dashboard that was shared by Link. In that case, it's not directly embedded inside PaygOps, but it's still using data coming from inside PaygOps for an agricultural company. And in that case, we see that like the kind of question that they ask are completely different. In that case, the agri company cares about, okay, what is the primary crop type of my client? In the case, we can see that primarily clients that cultivate maize, but also some peanuts or wheat. And they also care about the number of liters of water pumped. And here, what's thing to know PaygOps, it be data that comes from measure the number of waters that is pumped in the field. And that data is then using IoT communicated to the PaygOps platform. And all of the data coming to devices, as well as all the custom form data and all the financial data, and all in all the data available in PaygOps and be exploited inside dashboards. And here the array company that first focus on an example that is more around the financial data, making use of all the nicely formatted financial data that is in the PaygOps Analytical DB. And what I will do is I will go directly in PaygOps, click inside of my dashboard that I've customized, let it load. And here I have an example of a financial dashboard. And what you can see on the first example of this dashboard is that inside of the Analytical DB of PaygOps, we've done a lot of work to make sure that the data is easily accessible, including historical data. And so here, if you want to know the evolution through time of your portfolio at risk, or of a lot of financial metrics that can be of interest to investor, it's very easy to do. We can do it for you, and as well with the dashboard editor, you can do it yourself quite easily. And this allows you to then have like a very good picture of the evolution of the health of your portfolio, which is something that can be really critical to convince investors of the viability of your business. As you can see in this example dashboard, I've added like a lot of different things. So for example, here we would have like the expected paid per month and how it evolved versus the actual paid per month. So this can be used, for example, to predict cash flow and see how the cash flow prediction matches the actual cash flows that you're getting from your clients, as well as the share of receivable at risk or other metrics that can really be personalized for you and for any stakeholders that you might have. A specific stakeholder might ask you to use a very specific formula to compute a very specific metrics that they deeply care about, and you can do that for them. You can create a dashboard, you can create metrics that match exactly the metrics that they want or use in their due diligence or in their day-to-day tracking of performance. One of the things that's interesting to see here is that what is shown here in PaygOps can be actually fine-tuned for a particular viewer. And in particular for investors, this can be filtered for a particular portfolio, meaning that one investor can see another portfolios that you have in PaygOps. And so this allows them to really see the data that is relevant to them and for you to share only the data that that particular investor was supposed to see. Moreover, the data don't have to be inside PaygOps. So if for some privacy reason or other reasons you do not want to give even a view access to PaygOps to investor, you can also share those customized dashboard via direct link, or even have them as part of an automated newsletter. In that case, you will just get the email of your investor, specify, for example, which portfolio should be included in the report that they receive or group of portfolios. And then what will happen is that at a regular frequencies, they will receive an email directly in their inbox with all the nice graphs from that customized dashboard and any text that you can add. As you can see, you can add text directly in one email that summarize without you having to do anything. Moving a little bit further in the direction of this sort of customizability of what can be seen, our third example will actually touch an example, which is a call center day-to-day performance tracking dashboard. And the goal here is to show you how you can use the custom dashboards to build a really personalized experience for your agents, the same way I was mentioning for the investor. So here I will open the dashboard directly in the editor, show you a little bit. Well, first in PaygOps. And so this dashboard is actually a dashboard that can be used for a call center. And the first thing that we see in that dashboard is that it has lists and not only graphs. And that's something I really wanted to showcase because sure, it's very nice to have a lot of metrics and everything, but sometimes what you really care about your agents monitoring is just having a clear idea of what the next steps are. And here we can see that the first list is a list of the clients that need to be reminded to pay. And this list was actually really customized for the company with the metrics that they care about for reminding to pay. So here the list is filtered to only include the clients that are like 0 to 30 days late, that have already paid more than 20% of the loan, and that have an amount that is due that is over 30 shillings, which is what the target is for the call center agent that is seeing that list. And that's because maybe over 30 days it goes to a different department, or with other parameters, we don't really need to remind them to pay. So you can really build like your own filter, matching your own company processes that will then display a list for your agents that really matches your processes. This list can be exported. As you can see, you can download the list in CSV and Excel and JSON, as Joel was mentioning earlier. And you can even like add different filters that you can let your user use it within that list. So for example, you could like add a search by phone number. Here for managers, you can add a search by user in charge, or other filters. Only your creativity here is the limit. Here, to continue a little bit on that dashboard, we have another list. Here it's the clients to be contacted for upsell, which similar principle will have very different rules for each company. Here, this was built specifically for that company, where they consider only clients that have paid more than 80% of their loan already, and that have more than 85% like repayment ratio, for example. And so that shows the list for the call center that can then go and call only the clients that they should. Finally, just to show a little bit, here we built a little leaderboard in that dashboard, so that a particular call center agent can compare himself to the other agents in his region and see what the goal in terms of upsell actually is and where it stands compared to the other agents in his region. One thing here is that I really want to insist on before we move on is the fact that this dashboard will show different things depending on the users that is connected. So if it is an agent that is in charge of 2 clusters, the list that you will see here, as well as the metrics that we'll see here, only take into account is the 2 clusters or the 2 villages or the region that they're in charge of. If it's a manager in charge of the region, you see his region. If it's a branch manager in charge of 1 branch, you will see only his branch. If it's an agent in charge of 1 village, you will see only the village. And I can actually show that here. So you can see in the first list right now, we have around 30 clients that need to be contacted. But if I actually go and log out and log in with a test agent that only has visibility over a few villages, we should see something that is quite different. So we'll let it load. And here we can see that in that case, instead of having 30 clients that need to be reminded to pay, this particular agent only see 4. And it's because in his village, he only have 4 that needed to pay, whereas the previous users that I was using was in charge of a whole region that might have had 30. So to complete this presentation, one of the last things that I really want to show you is how you actually build a custom dashboard yourself. Because as Joel mentioned, either you can ask us to build custom dashboards for you, or you can request access to the dashboard editor, which then allows you to yourself create any graphs, any dashboard that you want, and really change them whenever you want and use it to meet your operational needs without any delay or without needing to asking for any external help. And we'll start with the first example is on this after sales dashboard that was just presenting, the call center dashboard. One thing that has been missing is the fact that my call center agents have had issue with tracking the resolution time of their issues. So they know that some issues take longer than others, but they're not sure how, and they don't have a clear idea of their target. So here, what I want to do is create a new graph that will allow you to see what is the resolution time of an issue based on the issue type. And the way it works is I click to create a new question. I pick my data, so the analytical DB of PaygOps. As you can see, it's like very well organized, one table for each of the items. In that case, I care about the issues. So we'll pick the issue as my data. I can apply a filter if I want. As I said, if you build dashboards that are meant for the regular user to be seen in PaygOps, the filter will automatically be applied with their permission. So in that case, I'm not going to add any. And what I want to see is just the count of the issue, the number of issues grouped by the type of issue. And that's all I do. I click visualize and I get the nice graph that I wanted, which shows for each of the different issue category, what is sorry, I didn't want to see the count, I wanted to see the resolution time. I will correct it, the average of the resolution time grouped by type. And so here what I get is the average resolution time for each of the type of issue. And one thing that I can do now that my call center agents will have access to that information is also give them a goal. So I want them to take a maximum of 20 days to resolve any of those issues. And so I will just add the goal line and save. And just give a name to the little graph that I created. And I can then add it to my dashboard. I will find a place somewhere in the dashboard. Here is perfect. And save it. I will wait a little bit for it to save. And then what happens is that go back to PaygOps dashboard. I have a second example that I want to show, just to show that you don't have to actually just build new dashboards, but that you can also just use it day to day whenever you need some information that is important to you. And so here, what I actually need today is to get an idea of how much commission I need to pay each of my users. So I'll go back to my dashboard editor. I will create, for this question, what I'm going to be doing. I'm sorry, my internet is being very slow. Okay, it's back. For this question, what I'm going to be doing is for each of the users, figure out how many of the contracts that they generated have actually had a good repayment ratio, because that's the policy in the company. So what I want to do in that case is get all the contracts that have more than 75% repayment ratio and that were registered in the last 3 months. Because the way the commission work is if a contract was registered 3 months ago, if now it has less than 75% repayment ratio, then my agents will get a commission, and if not, it will get no commission. And actually, I can make it a little bit fancier. I can show you how we can create a matrix to have it be 500 shillings if there is more than 75% repayment ratio, and 100 shilling if that's not the case. And so I will call this new field the commission, and I will just create a custom formula. I won't go into the detail exactly of how that works, but just so you know it's possible. That if the timeliness ratio is over 75, we give it's 500, otherwise it's 100. And this is what I will call my commission. And here I go. I run it, and I get then for each of my different contracts, how much commission should be paid. So right now, what I care about is actually summarizing that for each of the users that I have. So what I will go back. I will link the users to my table. As you can see, you don't need to know SQL or anything like that. You just need to learn a little bit how to use the user interface. And then from that, you should be able to build questions yourself. Although, as always, we offer the service to build the dashboards for you. And we are also available to help even if you use the dashboard editor yourself. So here I added my users and actually want to summarize the sum of the commission for each of my user by their email. And I can just do that. This is a more complicated example. It's just to show a little bit what is doable. And here the result is that I get a list of my user and how much commission should be paid to them based on the very custom formula that I explained before. And that obviously for each company will be completely different. And although it did take a little bit of time, without this kind of tool, it can take a very long time to do that kind of calculation, can be very manual if you have to export data within Excel and everything. And now that I've actually created that formula, I can reuse it every time. This is live, meaning that every 3 hours it will be updated, and every month I can just save that question. I can go back to it every month, and all my data will be there with the list of commission that I need to pay my user for that month. I can just click a quick button, export that in an Excel spreadsheet, send that to my accounting department, and they will take care of paying all the commissions that are due to each of my users. And with that, that completes the demo of the custom dashboards editor. And one last thing that is worth mentioning before we move on is the fact that here we have an editor that is provided, that is directly and deeply integrated within PaygOps. But all the data that you see in the editor is just the data that's available in the analytical database. It is clean data that has documentation directly inbuilt in the database. And this data can be used outside with other tools as well. So this remote Postgres database can also be used with tools such as Tableau, Power BI, or whatever BI tool you might be already using within your company. And with that, I think Jacqueline has a little poll that she wants to ask all of you.
Thank you, Ben, for that very thorough demo. So this is our very final poll. If you can all help us understand a bit what your struggles is when it comes to monitoring data. So 30 seconds again to quickly check one of the answers will give us a better insight. Thank you. From here on, we'll move to the Q&A. I think I've seen a couple of questions coming in. You can still send in your questions and we'll use the last few minutes to answer them. Okay, we'll just jump to answer the few questions that are coming in. So let me see quickly. So our first question that we have is from Rupe Malaga. And then I think this person is asking, is it possible to include other filters? I think this was asked while Ben was demonstrating the filtering of data per investor, I suppose. So Ben, do you mind?
Sure. So yeah, indeed, it is possible to add other filter. So you can either add filters that you define yourself and are fixed, or you can add filters that can be controlled by your user directly from PaygOps. And the filters can be on any of the different fields that are available. So for example, when I was showing the list of clients to be contacted today, I could have added an extra filter controllable directly by the user in PaygOps that allows them to choose themselves, like to filter by repayment ratio, for example, or to filter by age, or to filter by name, or whatever variable that you think there should be a filter for.
All right, thanks for the answer, Ben. We have another one coming from Gabriel, and He's asking, you indicated that dashboard can be customized based on the organizational level. Can it also be unique to each individual, or is it generic to the level? So Ben,
Yeah,
would you like to take that? Okay.
That's a great question. It can be unique to the individual because basically it's not, you can see at the village level, it's each individual within PaygOps hierarchical organization that is customizable. Each individual can be assigned a number of entities. For example, one user in PaygOps can be assigned 3 villages, let's say a village is A, B, C, and one branch, let's say branch D. And based on that, the data that you will see on each of the dashboard will only show clients or users coming from the branch ABC or for the village ABC or the branch D. Another user might have just village DE. And when that user logs into PaygOps, see one of the custom dashboards, the clients or the issues or whatever data is looking at will be filtered for those villages D and E.
Great, thank you. I hope that answers your question, Gabrielle. So another question we have coming in from Jackson Joseph. He'd like to know if the dashboard will be available offline on PaygOps mobile app.
So it's a great question. The dashboards are available on the PaygOps mobile app. Sadly, they're not available offline because right now we have dashboards that update very often with potentially quite a lot of data. And the offline mode tries to keep the data exchange to the minimum. So it is available on the mobile app. You can set up dashboards, including lists, including graphs that your different users can see, again, in a personalized fashion, but it will only be available when they have internet connectivity with their mobile app.
Great. So another one we have coming in from Benjamin, not from PaygOps, obviously, is asking, how will we manage the formulas if we are to develop our own dashboard?
It's a good question. I mean, there is documentation on how you can build the formulas. And as well, you can ask the help of our great customer success team to help you with some of the design of the dashboards. Because as Joel mentioned, we also have the services to help you design those dashboards.
Great. Let me check if we have any other questions coming in. Okay, so Gabrielle says that answers the question and is quite clear. And we have another question coming in from Chibwa, and they're asking, if we decide to use a dashboard editor and produce reports or dashboards on our own, will we still have the option to have monthly or quarterly reports automatically sent to the specified emails? Example, investors, or would we then have to do that on our own?
Yeah, I can answer that one too. Yeah, you can still have the quarterly reports sent to specified email. So basically, each of the options of having us help you build the dashboard, using the dashboard editor yourself, or using the remote analytical DB are not exclusive, meaning that you can actually use all of those options together. And so you can have us design for you like a nice investor dashboard that is sent quarterly, or you can edit it and create it yourself. In both cases, directly in the BI tool that we offer, there is the option to then automatically send those dashboards by email at a specified interval.
Okay, so great. That's a good answer. So we have another one coming in again from Bupe Calabar, and they're asking, are the dashboards updated in real time once created?
Sure. The dashboards are, once created, they're updated every 3 hours.
Okay, I hope that answers your question. I think we're all good. I see no questions coming in. If you have any more questions, this is your last minute to drop it in, and then we'll have to conclude the session for the day. Okay, we have no more questions. We only have a comment coming in from Peter Hausman, and he says, thanks, great tool. So that's good to know, Peter. Thanks for letting us have your feedback. Okay, so in order to wrap up, thank you all for the questions that came in. They're very insightful and important questions. If you have any more comments or questions, feel free to use the contacts that we've put on the screen here. So enquiries@solarisofgrid.com. And as well, if you want to find out more about PaygOps, feel free to navigate our website, www.paygops.com. You can also, if you're already a client, contact directly your account manager, and you let us know what your needs are as regards customized dashboards, and we can continue the conversation further. So in a minute, I'll be closing the webinar, but I see somebody saying they have a last question. Ben, are you open to take a last question before we go?
Sure. Showing the demo of how to assign a dashboard to a specific level. Sorry, so I will repeat the question slowly. Could you kindly show a demo of how to assign a dashboard to a specific level? So you don't actually need to do anything for that. I can very quickly maybe share my screen. Just 1 minute. I'm going to PaygOps. So what you need to do, I will need to log in back as an administrator. So we'll do that very quickly. So it's actually very, very easy to use. You don't need to manually assign a dashboard to a level. You just have your users already created inside of PaygOps, and each user already have their different levels assigned to them. So they're in charge of whatever village. And then what you do is you just go into the settings and into the custom dashboard settings and make sure that the entity filter is enabled for your dashboard. So for example, if I wanted to use my one of the dashboards that I had, like the dashboard number 3, I get the number of the dashboard. I copy the dashboard number of the dashboard in here. I give it a little bit of a name. Cook stove impact, agri impact, whatever name you want it to be. And the only thing that I need to do for the filtering by village to be enabled or filtering by the entities that the user have is to click enable the entity filter. And that's it.
All right, then I guess that answers and concludes the webinar for today. I want to say a big thank you to everyone that made it, took time out of the schedule to make it to the webinar. We hope that it was insightful and it was useful to you. It doesn't end here. We'll of course send you some material after the close of this session, but as well, feel free to use the contacts we've shared to reach out to us. You see also in your chat the contact shared again by Yamilet, and would respond to any queries you have after this webinar. So thank you to our speakers and thank you to all attendees. And we hope to catch you sometime soon again for another session. Thank you and goodbye, everyone.
Thank you. Bye-bye.